At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Central Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 501-244-3667, or visit our website at directserviceoverhead.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.
All right, everybody, welcome. Hope you guys are safe at home. You know, you just watched the Razorbacks smoke the LSU Tigers. If you're, I know that there are people that listen to this show on the ride home. Please be careful if you're out in this weather, especially up here in Northwest Arkansas. It's a little wild. The roads are covered in snow, and the Hogs beat some ass inside Bud Walton Arena. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans? Welcome to the one and only Tuss Talk with Ty. Hope you guys hope you enjoyed that game. Hope you enjoyed it, because I certainly did. Arkansas, who laid the smackdown on the Tigers. Hey, appreciate you guys coming through. Patreon supporters, you guys are rock stars. Of course, those of you who are here, remember to like the stream, share the content, and subscribe if you're new here. Shout out to our sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. They offer same-day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes, hundreds of 5-star reviews, better than best results. Give them a call today at 501-244-3667. That's Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Apex Tattoo Studio, who recently moved. They're still in Rogers, but they're now on 201 South 19th Street, Sweet Pea in Rogers, Arkansas. They got these tap-out deals. It's a pretty cool deal, up to $1,000. You get 10% off if you mention Tuss Talk with Ty. They're normally $1,200. If you mention Tuss Talk with Ty, they're $1,000 for tap-out sessions. But give them a call, 479-278-2694 to get set up today, to get your ink. To get your ink on. And then, of course, our last but not least, our sponsor, The Odd Soul, located on Emma Street here in Springdale, Arkansas. The Odd Soul, craft bar pizzeria. They offer it all. They have just about everything you could ever dream of on tap. If you're big into the local stuff, the IPAs, they've got it, man. Their pies are delish. I highly recommend it. I've noticed people in our Discord are going and they're sending pictures. I love it. Please keep doing that. For anybody that goes to the Odd Soul and you're in our Discord, screenshot, take a selfie at the bar or something, I don't know, and tag me. Make sure you tag me, okay? A couple of you guys aren't tagging me when you do that stuff. Make sure you tag me if you're in if you're in that Discord. We've got Super Chat rolling. Here we go. Aaron Harbison. Aaron, the usual suspect with the Super Chat. Could have had a better second half, but still a good win. Let's go. I agree. I thought that second half kind of got away from them a little bit. The shot selection was bizarre. And I know, like, listen, sometimes this thing happens where you're knocking down, well, tonight it was the 3-ball. You're knocking down those perimeter shots. I mean, I don't know what it is. All of a sudden, Devo is now like, you feel like if you need a quick, little 5-minute, if you need within a 5-minute gap to find a way to grab some points, Devo has been the guy. He'll kind of disappear maybe before or after that, but there'll be like this 5 or 6 minute portion of the game where he's getting points, he's getting buckets. It may not be like back-to-back possessions. It'll be like one possession, then 2 possessions later he's knocking down a 3, and then the next possession he's finding a way to either get to the free throw line or he's getting his mid-range jump shot that he loves to pull. He'll pull the trigger on that. You understand, like, this isn't a team that has been consistent outside shooting, and Devo has, and you can argue Pinion off and on. It's so weird how we're using Pinion lately. I don't understand. I know he was a little cold tonight, but I don't understand. Well, he wasn't cold, actually. We're going to look at those numbers, but I don't understand what they're doing with Pinion. I don't get it. It's like he's got a pretty short leash. If he misses a couple threes, that's about all you're going to see from him, unless he comes off the bench hot, unless he knocks down a couple quick threes or whatever, those corner pocket three balls. But then they do this thing. Arkansas, and we've seen them do this in other spots, and it's been a little while in conference play because they haven't shot so well outside. But you'll see them start to knock down shots, and then they get a pretty comfortable lead. And what they do tonight, they just started chucking the ball up outside, just thinking, well, hell, we're hot. Let's just keep it going. I understand the shoot-or-shoot mentality. I've had, listen, Pinto told me all about that on Twitter a couple of years ago. I know, shoot-or-shoot. I get that. I understand it. If you're in a rut, you hear that. If someone's cold outside, we used to say that about Isaiah Joe. Boy, he went cold. And then he just kept shooting and kept shooting and kept shooting, started settling for shots. I think it really cost Arkansas. Tonight you saw that in the second half just with different players, not just Devo, but different players. I don't know what was up with Ricky Council for a little bit there. Ricky, I don't know. Is there something going on there? I mean, for him to just be this cold, he has just kind of disappeared. Ty, I have to list most of the games. Would Kamani's fouls have been fouls in the 90s, or is Kamani the victim of softer game? That's a good question, Steven. I think it might be a mix of both. Of both. He college basketball was tougher in the 90s. NBA gets that rep. The NBA gets that rep all the time. When you hear about physical basketball, and it happened in the 80s and the 90s, you think of the Celtics in the 80s, of course, baby. Larry Bird all day. Larry Bird and the boys. You talk about the bad boys at Detroit. Hell, even, the Bulls were definitely finesse, but they could play a little physical down low. Dennis Rodman wasn't afraid to get a little handsy and throw in bows and whatnot. 90s were a different era in the NBA. I think the same thing could be said with college basketball. The officiating, I would argue that it is definitely softer. I would agree 110% that it's softer today, but I think that's across, hell, that might even be high school. I don't know. It might go all the way down to junior high. I don't know what it is. You don't have the player safety concerns that you do like in the NFL or football. You don't have the same player safety concerns. There is more money involved now, though, right? There's more money, especially now in this NIL era. So I don't know. But I do think it's a little bit of both. Kamani is sloppy. Kamani, and I would argue him and Walsh just sometimes, and maybe even Anthony Black every once in a while, they just get a little sloppy. They don't play smart defense sometimes. They get a little handsy. Walsh is the kind of guy, if someone who he's not guarding blows by in a lane, he's going to reach his hand out and he's going to try and knock the ball loose. We'll see him get that foul called. We'll see on-the-ball fouls on Walsh, but Kamani is just that guy underneath the rim. He's going to get called for a foul. And maybe it's a bit of both, but I would argue Kamani is probably one of your sloppier defensive players, but he's also one of your he's the grind. What's the right word? He's not afraid to get in there and play aggressive. And Muss loves that about him, right? When you need that spark, that aggressive spark, not necessarily a scoring or even sometimes a rebounding spark, just that aggressive play. Kamani's that guy. Kamani's the guy that can come off the bench and provide that. We got another super chat. Seeing Nick Smith Jr. against Baylor would be great. Not going to happen. Apparently the belief is it's going to be 2 weeks now. I think it was, I guess Sonny Dyke. I guess they talked about that. He's in 2 weeks is when we're expecting Nick Smith back. That's a bummer. I was really hoping sooner because now Arkansas may be playing for their tournament life at that point, and then you're expecting Nick Smith to just come in and connect and just die, and the chemistry just be right back, right? I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm glad. Of course, you're glad to have him at all. You're glad to have him at all, but 2 weeks is a little bit beyond the timeline because we were told all along it looked like February, like the first week of February. If you want, not that anyone was putting a timestamp on it, but that's what it sounded like. In 2 weeks, you're going to be a little bit behind that. That's unfortunate. But at least you're getting him back in February. That certainly seems to be like the timeline. It does. You just have to be good with it, right? You get him back when you get him back. For right now, you've got to settle on with what you have at the moment. I missed the legal hand check. What'd you guys think of Walsh? Listen, I'm not trying to make this about officiating because I don't have as big of a problem with it. It wasn't good. Of course not. Every game is this way. There were a couple of times Arkansas got away with some stuff. You're not going to convince me otherwise. I mean, there are a couple times where the Hogs clearly fouled, and it was like, whoa, we got away. We got a little bit of home cooking tonight. But that's everywhere. That's across college basketball landscape. Hell, that's NBA. That's probably high school. That's across basketball. Like, you're going to get a little bit of home cooking just to please the crowd. You're going to, it's a hard life down there. It's a hard life down there on the floor for those officials. And nobody's crying for them. The home team or their away team, the audience at home, nobody's crying for them. But, yeah, I mean, you're going to get a little bit of home cooking. But that that penalty on Walsh where the guy is clearly over his back. What are we doing? What are we doing? I just sat there and was like, what the hell? I mean, homeboy jumped over. It was over the back. What are we doing? I just couldn't help. I was laughing pretty hard. Like, that's SEC officiating in a nutshell right there. I don't know what else Walsh is supposed to do. But I mean, look, again, I'm not putting anything. I mean, listen, Arkansas had a pretty good lead and played really good in the first half. They were on a tear in the first half. They got a little bit of home cooking because everybody does. LSU got away with some shit tonight. There's no doubt about that. But for the most part, Arkansas. You look at that run. Yes, LSU almost got that thing down to single digits. They got the lead down to 11 points, I think was the lowest in the second half. They went on a tear. Miller went, what did he score? Their first 6 or 8 points in the second half. Miller kind of went on a tear. Kamani Azar-Rodman says Blood Diamond. Let me refresh this YouTube studio screen here. Hang on. I don't know why. It's just I have this problem every show. It's just really, really behind. A win at Baylor with what Arkansas has went through would be huge. Signature resume win. Oh, God. You're on the Tuesday, right? You played today. You're on the Tuesday jam. You're going to get a little bit of time to get healed up. We'll see what Arkansas does. We'll see what happens. I'm going to tell you. I mean, it's no surprise. I wouldn't take Arkansas right now. We've seen too many of these stretches where Arkansas just plays where they just kind of go numb. I don't know what it is, especially in the second half lately, which is weird because it seemed like for a while they were a good second half team, and boy, now they just go on these little spurts where they don't score. They go a long time, 3-4 minutes without getting an on the floor bucket. They, and then the other team just goes on a tear, and like we're seeing too many of that, too much of that. The opponents grabbing. You talk about spurt ability. We're seeing a lot of opposing teams have spurt ability against Arkansas, and it kind of, I don't know. There's a lot for this team to overcome to beat Baylor. There's a lot, and that's going to be a hostile environment. By the way, I guess this is the last year they're playing the SEC Big 12 matchup. I guess next year they start off with they're going to do its SEC ACC, if I'm not mistaken. I thought Muss was going to attack the ref. Oh, my God. He was ready to throw hands. Muss was ready to throw hands, man. It was something else. It sounded like the zone affected our offense in the second half. Yeah, once again, they just – I don't know, especially with how much better they're shooting from the outside. Let's look at these numbers here really quick. For Arkansas, your leading scorer – no real shock, I guess, if you've been paying attention lately. But Devo Davis had 16 points. Devo tonight almost with a double-double, 7 rebounds, all of them defensive rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and only 2 turnovers with no fouls tonight. But that's vintage Devo. That's March Madness Devo is what we're getting lately, and it's been fantastic. He's been your guy. I still stand by. That if Devo's your leading scorer in SEC play, if you were to tell me that going into SEC play, I would have been really concerned. But they found a way. Look, I mean, they're now on a 2-game win streak. Yeah, they're against lesser opponents. I told you guys, you cannot split these 2 games. They didn't. They didn't split these 2. But if you told me that Devo would be the guy in SEC play, I'd be a little bit concerned. And I think looking back now at the body of work that we have so far, there's reason for that, right? But you got to dig Devo. Like, that's not a shot at Devo. You love his effort. You love what he's doing. My God, he's your team. He's your team MVP every other night. I mean, he's just killing it. Ricky Council kind of came back a little bit. He had 6 rebounds. He had 7 assists. 7 assists, 10 rebounds, 6 defensive rebounds, 6 total, and a steal with only 1 turnover and 0 fouls. He and Devo played smart defensive basketball tonight for Arkansas. Yet again, 2 games in a row. 2 games in a row, I've seen them just play smarter defensive basketball. How about Houghton? I know LSU is a really bad offensive team. They're arguably one of the worst, or offensive team, sorry. They're one of the worst offensive teams in college basketball. But holding anybody at 40 points, home, away, or neutral floor is pretty impressive. I mean, there are teams that average close to 40 points in an opening half. Arkansas managed to hold them down to 40. Impressive. You know what? I was kind of impressed with Mekhi Mitchell tonight. I don't know that we're not talking enough about this cat. This dude comes in 2 for 2 at the line, 4 of 6 from the floor, 3 offensive rebounds, 8 total rebounds, 1 assist, 3 blocks, just 3 turnovers and 10 points. Mekhi Mitchell was kind of that dude tonight. I was really impressed with him. Yeah, he did. He had 3 turnovers. I mean, listen, he's going to have to find his groove, right? That stuff's going to happen. When he's that active around the rim the way that he is, especially rebounding and, trying to get the offensive rebound and doing what he needs to do down low, he's going to turn the ball over. I mean, that's just natural, but I think he'll figure it out, because I think he's buying more minutes right now. I think that's exactly what he's doing. He was a starter tonight. Jordan Walsh had kind of finally, I don't want to say he hit a wall, but he finally kind of slowed down a little bit. Just 4 points tonight, only 1 rebound, 1 turnover, 2 fouls. Very inactive, but he was 50% from field goal. So looking at LSU, 1 for 9 outside, 1 for 9. Arkansas holds LSU to 11 points, or 11 percentage outside shooting, 68% at the free throw line. They were 11 of 16 there. Don't complain about not getting to the free throw line as an away team. All right, that's not bad numbers, getting 16 shots at the line. And they were 14 of 54. You talk about bad shot selection tonight. LSU settled for so many shots, and it was because of Arkansas's defense. And yeah, they're not a good offensive team. Did you hear that stat? Finishing at the rim, their layup percentage or something was like 40%. They're bad. Arkansas has struggled around the rim. I've noticed offensively they can grab a couple of quick offensive rebounds. They don't have a good putback guy right now. I don't know what's going on there. I really thought, even with the injuries they've sustained, I really thought they would still be better up around the iron. I kind of wonder what Arkansas's numbers are there, but LSU's just they're bad. I picked Arkansas plus 14. Now, my official score is way off. I really thought they were going to go on an absolute tear tonight offensively. They didn't. I picked Arkansas. I think it was 84-70, I think was my prediction. Now, for me to guess, I mean, that's way off, man. That is way off. But I did feel like Arkansas was going to win this game pretty easily. They did just that. Their defense tonight, just fantastic. And it is easy to look good against LSU. Yeah, it is. It's easy. If you've got questions about your defense, you're worried about morale, you're worried about, a little low self-esteem on the defensive side of the floor for your team, have LSU come into your building. I mean, you're going to get a little extra pep in your step, because LSU's offense is so bad. Arkansas shot 45% when you're talking field goal percentage. Not too bad. They were 38%. Isn't that what they were last game? Didn't they shoot? Wasn't it 30, or what was their three-point shooting on the last game? 5 of 13. They didn't blow up the world outside, but then again, they only took 13 looks. But they did settle in the second half. They settled for 2 or 3. I thought that, but you don't fault them for taking those shots when they started off so good outside shooting. You don't fault them. And then how about Arkansas making 9 of just 12? 9 of 12, so Arkansas. Yeah, again, I think the officiating tonight, even though there were a couple of just head-scratching moments for the officials, overall they let these guys play. And it was, from what I understand, that's how Game 1 went too, between Arkansas and LSU. They just really let them play. But Arkansas 9-12, 75%. They got 6 bench points. Those all came from Graham, who quietly had kind of a semi-productive night. Not bad. 3 of 7 overall. 0 for 1 at the free throw line. 3 rebounds, a steal, a block, 1 turnover, and 1 foul. Overall, Graham was pretty good. I was kind of impressed with his defense, too. I was pretty impressed with his defense. Now, he did get – look, that's been his biggest question mark is his defensive effort. It is. It's been a big question mark for him. And he did get blown by, I think, at least once tonight. He definitely got beat off the dribble once. And that's going to happen if he's getting minutes, which I kind of thought that he would tonight. But he looked better. I think tonight was a step in the right direction for Graham defensively. Tyus Brant Allen still starting quarterback in the NFL. Johnny, I don't know what the hell you're talking. He's a backup. LSU talk smack. Oh, Jenna got held for review. Oh, that's rare. Jenna got held for review. Oh, you bad girl, you. LSU talk smack, so we smacked their booty cheeks. I love it. I love it. I don't know what Johnny's talking about. Is Brandon Allen starting quarterback in the NFL? No, but he's been in the NFL for quite some time, though, hadn't he? Making a 53-man making a roster is a hard thing to do in the NFL. Kudos to Brandon Allen once again in the going far in postseason play. We'll see if wouldn't it be neat to have the Bengals and the Niners have some former Razorbacks. Aaron got 9. The game is so much better when the refs let them play. Much more enjoyable to watch. I agree. It is so much better, and I've noticed that again. If you want to compare this game and the last game, this one was probably slightly called a little bit like what the hell. Not bad. It wasn't bad officiating, but it was just there were again. And you're going to have those. That one on Walsh though, that on Walsh was, and you guys know what I'm talking about. The clear over the back, and how the hell. And that's going to be all over Twitter. That's all Razorback fans are going to talk about. Although Arkansas won, so maybe not. But it was so bad. Like what? What is the call? Great to see it win, but I think it told me more about LSU than the Hogs, and that's a fair assessment. So let's talk about that really quick. And that's honestly Justin Kipper put it really well. I mean, it did tell you more about LSU than it did Arkansas. Arkansas beat a couple of bad teams. You can't let it get to your head. Now, what Arkansas can do with this game, these last 2 games, you're on for the first time this year in SEC play. In SEC play, you're on a win streak. You're now 3-5 in conference play. Technically, you're still only 4.5 games out. I mean, I'm only saying that for morale. I don't know that I see them jumping up real far, but they can use this. They can use this as a morale booster, right? And they do play better when they're not ranked in the top 25. And these last 2 games do not solidify them as a team that belongs in the top 25 because they just don't. Now, if they go on the road against Baylor, use these 2 games as a lift, as a major confidence booster. That can take you pretty far. Now, they have not been good on the road. They have been horrible. Arkansas has been atrocious on the road. Couldn't beat, you went on the road, you dropped one to Vandy, to Auburn, to Missouri. Teams, I feel like, well, maybe outside of Auburn right now because they are playing pretty good basketball, but should have been able to beat Missouri. And we can go on and on about what happened in that game, but still, regardless, the officials, whatever. It's hard to outplay that. I do believe that had that game been called a little bit better, Arkansas may have won that game. But you know what? Woulda, coulda, shoulda, whatever. You lost that game. 79-76. You went on the road against Vanderbilt, who, by the way, also playing right now, playing pretty good ball. Offensively, they're a very good basketball team. Arkansas loses that game, 97-84, 72-59 against Missouri. They lost to LSU on the road, who is the worst team. They might be worse than Ole Miss. I don't know. They might be tonight. I said coming into this game, I thought Ole Miss was worse. I don't know, man. I might take that back. LSU is just all kinds of bad, especially on the offensive end of the floor. Their defense can be a little tricky. Their defense can be pretty physical. They can play pretty tough, but Yeah, Arkansas hasn't shown me that they can do it on the road. They have won away from Bud Walton Arena this year. They won down in Little Rock. They won in Tulsa. They won in Maui. They won some games in Maui. But since conference play started, and especially since they lost Brazil, when you talk about like winning in Maui or playing well in Maui, Brazil was a part of that. You don't have him. Obviously, you're not going to have Nick Smith. This is going to be a tough one. Now, we'll talk more about Baylor on Friday. We won't get into that. But your next SEC game is the last game for the month of January. On the 31st, you're taking on the Texas A&M Aggies. At 6 p.m., thank God. Thank God. Another 6 p.m. tip-off. Let me give you guys a real quick update. Tomorrow, I'm not going to have a Wednesday show. Our school's canceled. So I'll be busy tomorrow helping out the kiddos and everything. So there will not be a Wednesday show. I don't plan on doing a makeup show on Thursday. So we'll just be back on Friday. So for anybody who's, curious about a show tomorrow, there won't be one. I'll be back on Friday. So tomorrow we're going to, I don't know. I don't get to sleep in too much. But tomorrow morning I get to sleep in just a little bit for like an hour. Let's see. No, actually about an hour and a half. We have first, my oldest kid's got a thing at 9 o'clock, I think, online. They do this online stuff now. I hate that for kids. I know some of you are going through that right now. I hate that. My wife knows how I feel about this. Let them enjoy the damn day of snow. Let them enjoy what's going on outside and not have to worry about making sure they're on their online classes and doing their Schoology work. I hate that for them. There are no more snow days like when we were all growing up. Back in my day, that sucks, man. That sucks for these kids. But it's not like they got a ton of work, though. To be fair, it's not like that. It's not like they're, they've got just stacks of paperwork to do, homework. Snow day in Bentonville, no AMI. Yeah, they've got AMI. My kids who go to a charter school here in Springdale, they have AMI or Schoology, whatever. So that's going to be fun. Aaron Harbison with the $5 super chat. We just played LSU. They suck. AB per IG Live. Oh, Lord. Oh, no. I appreciate the super chats, man. They are up and running. If you guys want to take part in that, again, shout out to all the Patreon supporters. Look at you fine people. Look at them. Look at them highlighted names, the $8 plus club. You guys are rock stars. I love it. Yeah, again, tonight, overall, it wasn't a perfect performance. We have yet to see Arkansas put together a good, just solid start-to-finish game in SEC play. We haven't seen it. I think if they had, I don't know what their record would be right now, but I definitely feel like they'd have at least a couple more wins under their belts. They just, I can't explain it, and they've blown a couple of, I shouldn't say they didn't really blow a lead, but they had a pretty big lead tonight, and they got down to 11 points, whatever. They still found a way to win the damn game by 20. So they took care of business against LSU. Unfortunate, when you shit talk on Twitter, Ace Wolf, you guys know who we're talking about. We in Fayetteville, Atville, next time, bring y'all smoke. We're going to run through it. Oh, I love it, man. I love it. Not today, sir. Not today. That's what you get. Miller was scoreless in the first half, by the way. Arkansas had 7 turnovers. I know this kind of stood out too. 7 turnovers in the first. I think it was 8 minutes. 7 turnovers. They get a little careless with the ball. I know you guys see it. They get a little careless. His tweet was as stupid as his hair. Oh, come on now. Adam Miller brought the smoke with 9 points. Look at Mike bringing the stats. 3 out of 12, 1 of 6, 2 fouls, a turnover. Kevin Sanders says, "Bro, I love snow days, no school, and slept in." Yeah, when I don't know how old you are, Kevin. I don't even want to say my age anymore, but I will be 40 this year. And yeah, Fayetteville. When we were all that age, you didn't have this AMI stuff, man. You just went out and you enjoyed your day. You just went out and you enjoyed the weather. You enjoyed the snow. Had snowball fights. Tried to get the youngest member of the neighborhood kids to eat yellow snow. What? I didn't say that. 4 inches of snow. Here's Zachary Hall. Here's the man who's been calling it right here. If you guys want updates on weather in the state of Arkansas, this is your guy right here. Zachary Hall says 4 inches of snow at my house in Greenwood, but I'm pumped about this win. Go Hogs. There you go. I know you don't like snow, Zach. I'm digging it. The Hogs got a blowout win over LSU, over the LSU Tigers. And I got snow. Zach. I'm thrilled. Well, I'm living a lie now. Reality came back. So Baylor, listen, what I would just love to see Arkansas do is just play competitive. Don't get blown out. Keep it a final 2-3 possession kind of game. Force them to just bring it, and both teams play their best, play their hardest, get a good gauge of where Arkansas is at. Are these last 2 wins an indicator of things to expect, or is there something else going on where these last 2 teams they're just that bad? And sure, that could be some of it, but maybe Arkansas is starting to make those adjustments, right? And we're not really seeing it fully because we're lost in the fog of just how bad these 2 teams are. So maybe there's something else going on that we just haven't really seen yet, or we're distracted by how bad these opponents are. Maybe we see some of that come to life against Baylor. If you make this a ball game on the road, that's going to swing their momentum in terms of their confidence in a way positive direction. And by the way, your conference play, A&M is a paper tiger. I'm sorry, they're a paper tiger. I think Arkansas should be able to take care of business against them, but they got to play really good ball. This isn't a team you sleep on. When I say paper tiger, I'm talking about the people who believe they're a top 2, top 3 team in the SEC. I don't think so. I'm not buying that. I definitely don't think they're a bad team. And we do need to take this a game at a time, but just looking forward at SEC play, A&M, I think you can beat inside Bud Walton. I think you can go on the road and beat South Carolina. And right now, I realize Kentucky, it's kind of, you don't know what you're getting. If Arkansas gets it put together, if they can play if they get better chemistry between now and by the time they play Kentucky, I think they could walk into Rupp and get an upset. Now, they haven't been able to win at Mizzou. They haven't been able to win at LSU. You got to really turn it around if you want to go into Rupp and win that game. I'm fully aware of that. But I think Arkansas is at least capable of winning that ball game. Then you get Mississippi State in Bud Walton Arena. So you've got some interesting matchups coming up. Luckily, you got a lot of these at home, right? A&M at home. Well, I say a lot of these. You've got 2 of these at home. You had the last 2 at home. But you get A&M at home. You get a winnable, definitely winnable game against South Carolina. And at least a game that's beating Kentucky is at the table right now. I think it is. Kentucky a little overrated. You could say the same thing about Arkansas, but Arkansas, it's more about injuries than anything. We'll see what happens between now and then. But I think Arkansas is capable of walking into Rupp and winning that game. But you got to play these games in front of you first. We'll see how they handle Baylor or how well they can play against Baylor on the road. And then you come home against Texas A&M. But you have 2 of these next 4 SEC games at home. And, of course, like I said, you've got at Carolina and at Kentucky. I'll take for the snow daily if the Hawks keep winning. Yeah, buddy. Absolutely. Thanks for stopping by, Zach. It's good to see you, man. Hope all's well. Jacob Pete Toom, good win, but concerned to the stagnant offense in the second half. Yeah, again, like I said at the beginning of this, the first half just night and day. The offense in the first half was clicking. I mean, they were gelling, man. In the second half, it just went stagnant. And again, I think they settled for some shots. They didn't try to earn anything. They tried to knock down a couple of quick three-point shots. Really hoping they can get Pinion going. I would love to see Pinion and someone other than Devo. And let me put this. I got to be careful how I say this because I love that Devo's scoring. I love that Devo has found the 3-ball. I'm all about that. That's great. But I would like for someone else to be in that. It shouldn't just be, is what I'm saying. It shouldn't just be Devo, knocking down the 3-ball. He was 2 for 2. Meanwhile, Council was 0 for 3. Walsh was 0 for 1. Pinion was 0 for 2. He did. For some reason, I thought Pinion had a 2 for. I don't know why I thought that. But he was 0 for 2 outside. Arkansas got 2-1 on the offensive rebounds, 14 for LSU, 7 for Arkansas. But total rebounds, Arkansas won that battle 36-35. 15 assists tonight for the Razorbacks, just 12 turnovers, so you're +3 in that margin. You like that. Listen, it's not great. You'd love to see those turnovers come down to 10 to 9. It's hard to do, especially in this league. You'd like to see those assists at about 15. I think you're living with 15 assists, especially if you can keep those turnovers down. Again, really impressed. Free throw shooting, inconsistent this year. But it's good to see them at 75%. I'm digging the 38.5 outside shooting and the 45 from field goal from overall. So there are positives. But that second half, like someone mentioned in our chat, boy, they just went stagnant big time. So I'm gonna end it here. Remember, tomorrow, no show tomorrow. I'll be back on Friday. If you guys are out, if you have to go to work and you're up here in NWA or you're down in the River Valley, you guys be careful. Take this stuff serious, man. Take it from me. I've actually wrecked in this stuff before. Been a while, been a long time ago, but I have wrecked in this stuff. So please be careful, be safe, and all that stuff. All right? Okay. That's going to do it. I appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to all the sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, The Odd Soul, and Apex Tattoo Studio, and to the Patreon supporters. If you guys are curious about joining Patreon, that link is provided for you down below. And if you want to join our Discord, that link is also provided for you. All right, and so is the websites for all these sponsors too. So go show them a little support. These are all local businesses, and that's who we need to support are the local businesses. All right, Woo Pig, and I'll see you guys on Friday. Be safe.